You're listening to the ESO Network, your station for all things geek.
Oh, hey there, kiddos, and welcome to the We're Watching Doctor Who show.
Oh, no.
I'm Joe Heath.
I fucking quit.
No?
I absolutely not.
I've got my co-host with me, Toni B. Heath, and we're going to be watching some Doctor Who for you today. No?
You only did that because you listened to Clint McElroy do it this morning.
No, I didn't. I just didn't.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly forgot about that until just now.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I was actually not even going to do a weird voice. I was just going to say...
But you did, and you picked it, maybe subconsciously, but that 100% is why it happened.
Probably. We should introduce the show.
Oh, shit, yeah, like properly, like good and proper.
Right. Hey there!
Okay.
Hi, I'm Joe Heath.
I'm Toni Heath.
And this is the Watch-A-Thon of Rassilon.
Isn't that so much better?
Today, we're going to be talking about Doctor Who. Okay, I gotta stop.
You have to, or
Right.
I swear to God I will leave.
Today, we're going to be talking about the sixth and final serial of the 16th season of Doctor Who, the finale to the Key to Time season arc from the 70s.
Yes.
The Armageddon Factor, which consists of 6 episodes that aired from January 20th, 1979 to February 24th, 1979. Another fact, this was the last existing 6-parter for a while until they redid Shada, because that didn't exist. And then they made it, and then it was a 6-parter. But this is the last one, technically.
Kind of.
Kind of. And then there's a 3-parter that's technically the same length because the episodes got longer.
True facts!
I want to give a special shout out once again to Bisexual Brigadier for purchasing the whole Key to Time season for us on DVD.
Hey, thanks, Bisexual Brigadier.
You can follow her on Tumblr at bisexualbrigadier.tumblr.com. That's really nice of you. I've enjoyed this season.
Yes.
Mostly.
It's one I'm happy to own. So, thanks.
Anything we need to talk about before we jump into the serial?
I guess our Wholanta special just aired. Not just. If
Well,
you're listening to this,
Yeah, it was like 2 weeks ago.
because that's how our schedule works.
Right, like it went up today.
That was super fun.
Yeah.
Had a great time.
I'm gonna miss it.
Yeah.
This is the last Wholanta. Shed a tear. But for us, the party will continue because we're going to have Alan on later for
That's
other
true.
serials.
So if you're like somebody who stuck around because you listened to our Wholanta special, one,
Sup?
that's super cool. Hey. Two, yeah, if like Wholanta and that like vibe is something that you're going to miss, tune in.
Yeah. 3, sorry for that radio announcer opening.
God, yeah, I really hope nobody started in on this episode and is like, well, that's just what it's like. Goodbye.
It is kind of like that. It's not like it's an inaccurate representation of
I mean,
how
it's
much of an idiot I am on
Definitely
this
a
podcast.
mess, always.
So yeah, I think we're ready to just dive into the finale. We got a lot to get through because this is a 6-parter.
Yeah. So, it was pretty good. I'm
Right.
sitting here this whole time thinking about, like imagining, like, setting up this episode for, like, 6 minutes and then just being like, I liked it. Anyway, thanks for joining us.
Tune in next time.
Like, what if podcasts were just like that?
That'd be interesting.
You wait through, like, 10 minutes of introductions and plugs, and then the person's like, here's my opinion. It was okay. Thanks for joining us.
Man, you desperately tried to do that with Mission to the Unknown.
I mean...
It was an important episode.
I guess.
Alright, let's talk about the Armageddon Factor for realsies.
Okay.
Episode 1, which I have titled As the World's Turn.
Oh. 5 out of 10. It's solid.
5.5?
You know what? I'm feeling benevolent. I'll give you a 6.
Oh, shit!
Yeah,
Thanks.
you talked me into it.
The reason for that is because well, first off, the first thing we see is clearly a soap opera.
Which is amazing. Which is a very, very good way to start. Oh, is that why you did your whole bit?
What bit? The bit at the beginning?
Yeah. It's a very good way to start an episode by just sort of throwing you this weird, like...
genre curveball?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's not why I did it, but yes, it is totally why I did it.
It's
totally,
a commentary.
Totally. I'm mimicking the structure of the serial for the podcast itself.
Let's not even pretend like that's not how you roll.
That's true. That's...
One of these days, this podcast is just going to have its own separate plot. Where...
Ooh.
Oh, God.
How do we do that?
Listen.
How do we do that?
No.
How do we do that?
No.
We should tailor the episodes to the style of the serial that we're talking about. Ooh. How do we do that?
I'll tell you how.
We don't.
We don't.
It's the sort of stylings of a soap opera, but we don't know that. Well, it is eventually revealed to actually be a soap opera, too. It's not just like a soap opera-ish scene. We cut back later and we see that it's actually on a TV, and that it is, in fact, a soap opera.
But it does kind of set a little bit of the plot up for you, conveniently.
Yeah, because it's a guy going off to war. And the woman's like, oh, don't go, and stuff. And he's like, we have to for, our planet. Because there's 2 planets at war. Atrios and Zeos.
I'd like you to know that I constructed this elaborate reason why this episode opens this way. I do this frequently with things that I read, where I'm like, the writer clearly, came from soap operas, and this is, the first thing that they wrote that wasn't a soap opera, and they had such writer's block, and they knew what they wanted to write, but they didn't know how to not do soap operas, and so they just started writing it like a soap opera until they got the plot down enough that they're like, okay, and then just use that as an opening. I decided all of this within, while watching it.
I don't know
That's
true
what
or not.
happened. It's just something I made up.
That's a Toni fact!
I do this all the time with things where I'm like, I bet this happened like this, and then just make up this, elaborate reasoning that doesn't need to exist.
That makes sense. I don't think it's true.
I don't think it is either, no.
But it's a solid theory. So then, what happens next? We meet Princess Zelda, and she looks like Princess Zelda. Okay, her name's actually Astra.
You said that, and I was like, is her name Zelda? Is he just doing a thing?
No, she looks like Zelda.
Yeah, she really does.
She also looks like a future companion.
A lot like a future companion. So much!
There are certain things that I knew about going into this show, so I knew that there was going to be 2 Romanas. I knew visually what the second Romana looked like. I actually knew what she looked like more than I do the one that we currently have.
The vibe that I get from the fandom is that she's the favorite.
The second one?
Yeah. Was it Lala Ward? Is
I believe so.
her name?
Yeah, it's Lala Ward. You got it.
Is that how it's said?
Yeah, sure. But this serial, she's playing Astra, which she will become Romana in the next serial, which I find odd. This Romana doesn't really get a send-off, but it's also not like we're losing that companion. She's just changing.
Yeah. It's sad because
actress.
you want every actor and actress to get a nice send-off, but also it would be weird. Mm. I mean, it hasn't stopped him from doing it with the Doctor, not even one time, so...
It feels almost Liz Shaw Dodo-esque, even though it's not real. I mean, it kind of is, but not really.
I mean, because we're not saying goodbye to the character, we're saying goodbye to the actress, and that is...
Yeah, Mary Tan.
It is weird.
This is not a very long time we've had her as a companion, either. 6 serials.
Yeah, she only key to time?
Only key to time.
And she just was like, yeah, I did it. It's
Peace
cool.
out. Yeah. Though, from what I've heard, she was like, I would have came back and done a regeneration scene if they wanted me to, but no one asked, so... But yeah, she was like, I did it, I'm good, I'm done. To be fair, I don't think Leela lasted very long either, did she?
I don't know, I feel like she was on longer than that.
But it's weird, it's also weird because, we're kind of meeting the companion now, her replacement in the episode, before the episode she premieres in.
I wonder if they try to play that off, I'll pick this face, because
I'm pretty sure they do, yeah.
I saw it, and I thought it was cute. No, even that, I'm sure it relates to how this episode ends for Astra.
Well, how does it end for her?
She dies.
No, she's fine at the end.
Oh yeah, she's in the shame.
I mean, ultimately...
She does for a little bit, though.
Dies, changes form.
I mean, maybe let's talk about episode 1.
Right, so, she wants to go to the hospital and see all the bad, war-broken people.
No, she doesn't. She wants to go see her boyfriend.
That's true. Merrick. His name is Merrick. He's a big, whiny doofus, to be honest. I don't honestly care for him very much.
He's also the surgeon at the hospital, supposedly. He never does any surgeoning.
The guy that's sort of in control of the command center does not want her to go, but eventually lets her. And his name is... Well, I don't know if he even has a name. He's just the Marshal.
He's a dick, and we don't like him. That's all you need to know.
I mean, that's not all you need to know. Because also he'll occasionally just weirdly touch his neck, or talk to himself in a weird funhouse mirror.
Yeah, but that's not weird. Everyone does that.
No one can see the guilty look on your face. Also, what the fuck?
What?
Do you talk to yourself in a funhouse mirror?
Let's be honest. I am constantly, I think in my head, enacting different conversations with people, only I'm actually having them out loud. That happens a lot. I think, like, occasionally you've looked over at me and been like, why are your lips moving? And it's like, shh, I'm arguing with you in my head.
You win those, too. But we'll talk about him a little bit more in a little bit. Just know he does some weird shit. We finally get the TARDIS appears in space, and they can't find the planet that they're supposed to be finding, which is Zeos, which is where the next key location apparently is.
But it is the planet. No, we did that one already.
But the command center also sees the TARDIS on their scanners and don't know what it is, so they're like, oh, blow it up. The Marshal is also, has commanded the Astra be redirected to a different room than the room she was supposed to be going to. She was supposed to be going to some event thing or whatever, and they're like, oh, we actually need you to go to this room. And she's like, wasn't this the room that had, shit tons of radiation in it? And they're like, oh, it's fine now. Spoilers. It ain't. And also the Marshal shoots her guard that's hanging outside of the room too. I forgot, because there's a part of this that's the Marshal is under control. But I forgot how much bad shit he did right at the beginning of the serial. Because it's a 6-parter, so I kind of forgot stuff that happened at the beginning. But yeah, he's just going around murdering people and trying to murder people.
He's a dick.
Yeah, well, kind of. Yeah, I mean, even after he's out from under control, he's still kind of a dick. But Romana says that there's a lot of... She's doing a scan of the planet, and she says there's a lot of radiation on the planet, and fear something bad. And the doctor's like, I don't know, maybe it's just a breakfast party, making lots of eggs.
He says that?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
I don't know. He's like, where's your optimism? And she says, it opted out. Then the doctor does sort of switch around to her pessimistic view. He's like, you gotta always prepare for the worst, because... when is it not? They're very cute and adorable in this scene, and I liked it. So, the Marshal orders that the thing on the radar, which he doesn't know is the TARDIS, be vaporized. And the doctor is like, oh, shit. There's a missile coming toward us. And he's like, I'm gonna do it. I'm going to dematerialize at the last second so that they'll think that the missile worked. So it'll blow up, and then they'll think they've destroyed us, but really we'll have dematerialized. And
that's a pretty good plan.
And he's like, how much time do we have left, K9? And K9 goes, 3, 2, and he's like, oh shit! And flips the switch. And they dematerialize, and the Marshal is like, aha! We've blown it up. And his second in command is like, actually, I think I saw it disappear. Let's talk about him for a second. His name is Shap, and he is the best. He is the best character in this serial. He makes faces that are just sublime. There's
literally, made the chef kiss.
Mwah. That's good. Because there's a period there right at the beginning where I was like, does he just not care that he's on a TV show? He does not seem to be very enthused about anything. And then I was like, oh no, wait. That's his character. His character is just tired of all this bullshit. Because there's literally a scene shortly after that where the Marshal's says something like, I do this stupid plan, rah! And Shap literally is like, yes sir, and then rolls his eyes as he's walking away. And I was like, oh, it's on purpose. Okay, I couldn't tell if it was just the actor being bored or if this was a conscious acting choice. Anyway, I love Shap. And anyway, the TARDIS lands on the planet, and they all get out, and K9 gets to come, like, immediately.
They don't have to go back for him later. He just gets to come first time around.
Yay! And then they find the dead guard, and they find the locked door, and they get K9 to make a hole in the door, which is where they see Astra, who has passed out due to the radiation gassing thing. And then the Marshal shows up and pulls a gun on them, on the Doctor and Romana, and they're like standing over a dead guy, the guy that he shot, the guard, and he's like, you guys killed this guy. And they're like, no, we didn't. He says, you don't expect me to believe that, do you? And they go, yes. No. And then they switch it around and go, no. Yes. Nailed it. First take. And anyway, he sort of takes them away at gunpoint, and he doesn't see K9. And then K9's like, well, I'm going to go around and snoop around, and almost a ceiling almost collapses on him. And he just stops and then backs back up.
I'm always really impressed with, like, K9's ability to play comedy.
Right?
Because by rights, he's a non-emotive prop. And I mean, a lot of that comes from voice acting. But also, like, there was no voice acting in that, and it was funny.
It was some good roboteering.
And I don't know how much of that is just, like, our ability to feel empathy. But it's also that same thing of, like, Kermit the Frog makes the best faces.
And it's just a hand in a sock, basically.
Yeah, but you're like, that reads as, like, primal frustration when he's frustrated and stuff. Like, K9 has that same thing, where, like, there are times where I swear K9 is giving someone a look.
He doesn't even have, like, moving facial features. He's just a block. Yeah. The only thing that, like, moves on him is his little antenna.
Maybe that's what it is. But, like, they do a lot, too, with, like I said, voice acting and tone and stuff. He gets a lot of really good jokes in.
So the Marshal thinks that the Doctor is bad and in cahoots with Merrick, who is, I don't know, betraying somebody or other. Who knows? This guy's just out to get whoever he can, even though he's actually the bad guy. He's basically trying to stop Astra and Merrick from messing with his plans, which aren't even his plans.
They are in cahoots. They are trying to, like, stop the war. They're trying...
Yeah. They're not in cahoots with the Doctor.
No.
But Merrick and Astra are.
And are in cahoots with each other. They are trying to...
they're in cahoots. Wink.
Yuck. They are trying to make peace with the other side of this war.
Wink.
Why would you wink at that?
You know, they're trying to make some sweet, sweet peace. Wink.
Okay, that's not a thing. So the Marshal knows this and is actively trying to stop them.
Again, as we've spoilered, he's under the control of the bad guys.
But really? He just, like...
He's also kind of a warhead dick.
Thinks war is fun. This serial is about how war is bad.
What? They search the Doctor, and they find his dog whistle, and they don't know what it is, and he's like, oh, it's just a whistle. Care for a blow?
I remember hearing that. Yep. It sure is in the episode.
And they say that they are there that they're tourists, that he actually runs an educational tourism thing. He's like, well, this is in the middle of a war zone.
You know, that's not that far off from the truth.
That's true. And he even specifically says, like, he goes to different time periods. So he even straight up says he's a time traveler here, like, during, like, moments before big events and stuff for educational purposes. That's legit.
You're lying, but that's kind of what you do.
And then the Marshal's, like, orders their execution, but the Doctor orders that K9 shoot out the lights, and they get away. Meanwhile, in that little room where Astra is passed out on the floor, a guy in a weird mask shows up, and, like, he's wearing a silver mask, and he's wearing a long black robe, hooded robe. He grabs Astra, pulls her into this secret compartment, and then flashlights out. It's just like,
flashlights out?
Yeah, there's just like a big glowing light.
There's a teleport system. It does look like it just kind of flashes and then they're gone.
Yeah, it's a transmat area. And then the Doctor and Romana get back to the TARDIS, and the TARDIS is gone. Whoa, what? Cliffhanger. And that's the end of episode 1. We are now into episode 2, which I have 2 titles for.
Ooh.
Recycled Plot.
That's a good one.
And The Weapon of Peace.
7 out of 10.
For which one?
It's the
combined.
Median.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I said median, but I mode.
I don't want pie.
Mean. Definitely mean.
Do you? What do you mean?
Average.
Distribution.
No, you're just saying math words.
Formula plus. So Merrick comes up and the doctor almost strangles him till he realizes that he's not a bad guy. The K9 fully opens the door and Astra is not there. And they're like, oh, that's weird. And then K9 goes to examine, I don't know, look for stuff, look for Astra, figure out what's going on. And a door slides up, and this little red thing, I don't even know, it's just like a little red laser light thing shows up and pulls K9 further into the building. He's caught and taken away for recycling. I don't know what the hell that is that supposed to be like a tractor beam? What was that supposed to be?
Sorry, I just got very upset thinking about all the things that happened to K9 in this serial.
There's a lot of doggy danger.
Yeah, it's a tractor beam. But why not?
At the time, I was like, what the hell is that? But then they're like, we found a foreign object and we're going to recycle it. That's what Shap says to the Marshal, or the Marshal says to Shap, or they have a scene together about it.
A scene happens. Some information is passed on to the audience.
See, for a while there, I thought they were calling him Chap. Like, dear Chap. But they were saying Shap. But there are other points where I believe the Doctor does call him Chap, and it was confusing. And the Doctor goes back to the Marshal to find out stuff, but the Marshal is meditating, in parentheses.
Thank you for verbalizing your air quotes.
Yes. I said parentheses and I meant quotation
You
marks.
did!
Plus, he eventually comes out of his meditation, in air quotes, and is now very excited about the Doctor because the voice has told him to not really trust the Doctor, but to use the Doctor, basically. It says that his coming has been foretold and he will destroy the Zeons, because they're on Atrios. Zeon's the other planet, the one that these two have been constantly at war.
I thought Zeon was... Shit, I can't remember the joke I was going to make.
You thought Zeon was the girl of the 21st century.
Thank you, that was it.
And it's Xenon.
Man, that's a good movie.
Starring, oh shit, I used to know her name. She was Belle on Days of Our Lives. Speaking of soap operas. But he says that the Doctor will destroy the Zeons, and it's been foretold that he will do this. And the Doctor, he's getting super excited about it too. And the Doctor's just getting into it as well. He's like, yeah! Wait, what? And then an attack happens. Some Zeon ships are flying out. We see this on the radar screen. And there's just little blips of light.
I like this scene. It's very obvious, and I can't remember what it looks like specifically now. I think some of them are stationary and some of them are moving, right?
They're both moving towards each other.
But they start on completely separate sides, and one by one, their lights are going out.
Yeah, because they do get one ship.
They get one ship. But the second one that goes out is one of theirs, and he's like, there's another one! And he has to be told that that's his own ship. He doesn't recognize that at first.
And then they lose 3 ships. They had only 6 ships to begin with, and they lose 3 of them. And they're abort, or whatever. Also, when they start this scene, Shap has the weirdest line delivery where he's talking to the ships or whatever, and he's just attack, attack, attack.
I forgot about that. He does. He just very calmly says attack 3 times.
Whereas I feel in the script it was written attack, attack, attack. But Shap just goes attack, attack, attack.
That's how bored of war he is.
It works, I feel.
Also, when they lose 3 ships, there's no there's a moment where he's like, you want me to take our people out? And he's like, nah, keep fighting. And it's it really is they're just getting slaughtered and there's no thought to the loss of life at all.
I think Shap cares a little bit. Marshall does not at all.
Yeah.
Because Shap is Marshall's I don't understand why we're losing so badly. And Shap is well, because all of our people are gone, and all we have left are these few that haven't been trained at all. So what did you expect?
He's a mood.
Yeah. I know what you mean. Now I'm sad. Okay.
We should not talk about it.
So the Marshal wants the Doctor to make a weapon to destroy the Zeons, and the Doctor says that he will make a weapon of peace. He wants to talk to him, but he's that's dumb. He's well, we'll make a force field to block it.
Block what?
Any incoming ships.
Gotcha.
But he's going to need Astra and K9. He doesn't really need Astra, or probably K9. He just wants them.
He just gets bored.
And then he is informed that the metal contrivance that he's brought aboard the ship has been taken for recycling. And he's like, what? And runs out the door to go say, well, he's like, where do I go? And Chap just points. He goes after K9. And then they're all standing outside of, like, the door to the recycling.
It's 100%, by the way, like a conveyor belt that goes into the fire.
It's like
slowly.
Toy Story 3.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, this has actually been intercut throughout all of this so far. It's just K9 on the conveyor belt going, Master? Master?
It lasts too long and it makes me too sad. And I don't want to talk about it anymore. So let's just get to the part where he gets rescued and he's okay.
Well, they're waiting outside to see, outside of like where the Bernie bit is. I don't know what you call it. The pit of recycle fire. But by the way, that's why recycle plot. Hey, recycling. Anyway, like the marshal is like getting upset that the doctor's in there, and he's like, he must not die, not yet. And Romana's like, wait, what?
Excuse me? You've said what?
And
like
then,
4 times. You're out of them. You
what?
can't. You're out of them. You can't.
What? I'm out of them? What?
You don't get any more. You're banned.
What?
Is that out of your system now?
What? Yeah, and that's also when she that's also when she spies the little doodad on his neck. He has like a little button thing, a little square piece of nonsense on his neck that he's fiddling with. K9 literally goes off the edge of the thing, and the doctor dives after him. And he pops out of the door and, like, steams everywhere, and he's holding K9 in his arms.
And my metal boy is okay.
I think the doctor says something like he got through it okay because he did, like, some fire walking at some point and then learned some shit. You know, bragging about learning something from somewhere and being, you know, superhuman or whatever he is.
He's a Time Lord, if you forgot. And
then they're like, we're sorry we burned your friend or tried to destroy your friend. And the doctor's like, we all make mistakes sometimes. Right, K9? K9 goes, negative. So what the doctor wants to do, his force field, is actually to make a psychological block. He wants to meet a Zeon, learn about him, figure out some sort of psychological warfare, so they don't actually have to do something technical.
But really, he just wants to meet a Zeon and see if he can't talk his way to peace. Broker was the word I was trying to think of. Thank you.
And then this is when Marshall says that Astra has been taken by Zeos, by the Zeons. And that we need to fight them, not talk to them. We don't have time to do this whole big psychological block bullshit. Romana tells the doctor about the not yet comment from the Marshal. And the doctor thinks that the Marshal is a puppet, but he doesn't know who's pulling the strings. So Jim Henson. He kind of gives Romana and Merrick the task of figuring out what's on the other side of that mirror, that funhouse mirror. Which, if he has the little neck thing, why do they have to have the mirror thing?
So you can see him.
I mean, he's not behind the mirror.
There's something behind the mirror. When they go back behind there, there's like a thing back there.
Yeah, it's just a skull for some reason.
Yeah, why?
I guess it's like connected to the bad guy somehow, but why did it have to be a skull? Why isn't it just like
it's like there was a guy whose job it was to watch him through the one-way mirror, and they forgot to tell him he could leave.
I guess it's supposed to be some sort of mystical bullshit.
It's just some sort of mystical bullshit webcam.
Yeah, why did it have to be a skull? Why couldn't it just be like a little webcam or something?
Well, I mean, I could tell you why it couldn't be a webcam.
Well, you know. Well, I mean, they've had security cameras on the show before.
Yeah. I don't understand the two-way
If
mirror.
you came across a security camera by accident, you'd be like, oh, that's weird, it's a security camera. Then move on. If you come across a fucking skull, you're going to report that shit. Unless there's like some sort of...
I mean, it's hidden.
Mind control.
You can't just get back there. I mean...
They do.
Yeah, because they're poking around.
No one thought to poke around behind the weird mirror that the Marshal talks to all the time? Anyway, what?
No, they're all dead.
I also believe it's at this time that the doctor says that the reason they can't see Zeos is because there might be something blocking the way. We don't know what it is. But there might be some sort of force field or something blocking the view of Zeos. Because nobody can see Zeos, but they're getting the shit beat out of them by Zeos. Then at this point, Astra calls in on the TV and tells everybody to surrender. Romana finds the other side of the mirror with a skull, and the Marshal actually is talking to the skull, and they mention that that he's a Time Lord. So they know
They're both Time Lords.
Oh yeah, Romana. Yeah, sorry, I thought you meant like Marshall was a Time Lord. No. So that they know that the Doctor and Romana are Time Lords. So I guess Romana sort of figures this has something to do with the key and the Black Guardian and all that.
Who's like been talked about a lot, but it's like, man, I kind of thought he'd be a bigger threat or something. I thought he'd be like working real hard to stop him. Yeah. I wonder why he hasn't.
So the Doctor's going to go to Zeos or try to find out what happened to Astra or whatever. He gets kidnapped by two of those hooded figures and is transmatted away. That's the cliffhanger. And like Romana's like, oh no!
Oh no!
And at the end of episode 2, we're into episode 3, which I have 2 titles for. The Shadow Wants to Know.
Oh, I like that one.
And The Dance of the Bees.
The Dance of the Bees?
The Dance of the Bees.
I don't know what that's in reference to.
We'll get to it. The Doctor is taken to the Shadow, who is also a hooded figure. I don't think he has a mask. Well, he kind of... Okay, it's not really a mask. He has, like, an alien face, but it is also, like... You can see the alien nose, but you can also see his own real nose, the actor's real nose, squished underneath the prosthetic. It was very distracting every time I saw him. I was like, I see both of his noses.
Maybe it was a mask of a nose.
You know what I should have called this? The Shadow Noses. So the Shadow puts one of those weird blocks on the Doctor's neck. And it's like, I'm under my control now. And the Doctor's like, what with this? And takes it off. It has no effect on him. And they put him inside of this lie detector cage and question him. And if he lies, he gets shocked.
Which is a fun scene. And
we find out what happened to the TARDIS, which is that the Shadow has the TARDIS. The Shadow's like, you got my shit in there.
The key.
Give me my shit.
The key to time.
The key to time. 5 of 6.
And the Shadow says as much.
He hasn't got that last Happy Meal yet.
The Shadow says as much that he's working for the Black Guardian.
I mean, he's wearing a big black robe. Duh.
And he's called the Shadow.
Romana is trying to find the transmat that took away the Doctor. Sort of figures it out. Merrick is an asshole and steals the she's like, we'll use this tracer to find him. He, like, steals the tracer from Romana and jumps into the transmat himself because he wants to save Astra. Which is, honestly, a bit of an asshole move.
Right? Like, they were both going there.
Right? It was a dumb play. Dumb play, Merrick. So, yeah, the Shadow asks for the key pieces. The Doctor says he can't get them because he's put, some bullshit thing on it. He's lying.
He put the pieces in limbo.
He can't...
Or something.
He can't get the pieces unless he has the 6th piece. He's put it under some sort of thing so that he can't access them without having the 6th piece.
The Doctor lies about better plans than he actually makes.
I know, it's pretty great. And then the Shadow's like, honestly, I've waited for like millennia for all the pieces to come together. I can wait a little bit longer, but I've been studying you. I've been keeping tabs on you, getting all these key pieces. You're not patient, so you'll get them to me eventually. And like, leaves the room. Leaves the Doctor in there alone with the TARDIS to just like wait him out.
Which is honestly the best plan a Doctor Who villain has ever had. It's just like, you'll get bored and just want to advance the plot if I wait long enough.
And he's fucking right. Like, he nailed the Doctor. And the Doctor's like, well, I'm going to go find the 6th piece then. Which is exactly what the Shadow wants him to do. The Shadow questions Astra. I don't remember about what. He has her chained up, though, and he wants her to help him. And is going to hurt Merrick if she doesn't, because he pulls Merrick up on the view screen. He's like, see, he just transmatted here, and I'm going to go get him, and then...
Really, that scene is to establish that they're super in love.
Wink!
It's not something you wink about.
Oh, yeah. They're in love. Wink!
It's just...
You don't wink after that sort of statement?
No.
Wink.
Also,
yeah.
And this is important, you don't say wink out loud when you wink.
You don't? Blink? You don't, maybe. Cool kids like me do. So Romana and K9 transmat to the planet. Shap is over, like, sort of sees this happen And he's like, huh? What? And then accidentally transmats himself. I said, huh, what? It's different than what?
No, it's not.
There's a lot of confusion in this serial. It has to be expressed. So he accidentally transmats himself following them. And then he bumps into the doctor, or the doctor bumps into him. One of the two. And the doctor's like talking to him and says, we're on Zeos now. And Shav's like, nah, can't be. How?
He's literally like, we must just be in a restricted area I've never been in before.
Yeah, that's it. But no, they're totes on Zeos. Merrick, using the tracer, finds Astra's bracelet. Why does it trace the bracelet? Romana finds him. So it doesn't even matter that they split up.
No.
The bracelet is not the key, but there's like traces.
There are 3 traces.
There are traces on the bracelet. So whatever, like the key
it has
was
been
in contact.
around the key for a long time.
The doctor wants K9, so he pulls out his whistle again, but lets Shap blow the whistle. Like, Shap blows the whistle twice in this serial, because he did it in that wanna blow scene. But he blows it again, and it's always...
And then the answer is yes.
Yes, I wanna blow.
Yes, he does want to blow.
And he always puts on this, like, comical, I don't know what I'm doing face when he does it. And then the doctor asks him what the Zeons look like, and he says that the Zeons look like, you know...
People. They look like them.
Look like them. And he's like, so not, like, tall, silver-faced dudes in black robes? He's like, nah, this is some science fiction shit. The robed guys are not the Zeons. K9 finds them and says that he was talking to the Zeon Commandant and that he will take them to it.
I love K9's dialogue here because he's like, I was having some pleasant conversation. It's so nice to talk to somebody, like, on my own intelligence level.
Because he basically says that it's a robot.
It's a computer system.
Yeah, I guess they team back up with Romana and Merrick at some point because they're all together now in my notes. And Merrick's like freaking out a bit because he's like, oh, we gotta find Astra. We gotta find Astra. And
it's fine. She's just being tortured in the basement.
And Shap's like, listen, you're gonna have to have a little more self-control. And then he looks around and notices the doctor's going, Doctor? And then like rushes off. I love Shap. Shap is so good. So they follow K9 and he's outside of a door and he's spinning and beeping. And the doctor's like, I've never seen this before. Which, bullshit, he did it in the pirate planet. But the door opens and they go in and this Romana says it's something like the dance of the bees. It's a communication thing.
Oh, I gotcha. I follow now. I see.
And then Merrick goes, what are bees? And the doctor is just like, insects with stings in their tails. Like, he gets so aggressive for no reason. He is so angry. I don't know why.
Maybe just at the idea of bees?
No, we know he loves bees. He's previously shown admiration for bees.
The doctor is strongly pro-bee.
But now I think he's anti-Merrick. He's like, this dumb fucker keeps asking dumb, unimportant questions. Who gives a shit what bees are? Got more important things to do.
Can you do it again?
I mean, I wasn't even doing an impression. I was just being growly.
It was good, though.
The insects with stings in their tails. He's so angry. Just spitting those lines out.
What's great is, like, he's not really angry after that line, either.
No, I think it's just Tom Baker.
It's just that one line delivery, and that's it.
I think it's just Tom Baker like, this line sucks, I'm going to do something with it. Which I feel like he does a lot.
Yeah.
But they go into the room, and it's a control room. It's a big, like, thing in the center of the room.
It's very descriptive.
Yeah, it's like a big pedestal with, like, it's, like, pyramid-shaped, kind of. But it's, like, the control center. It's, like...
It's got a lot of lights.
Yeah, and it's called Mentalis.
I thought you were going to say Nintendo, and I don't know why.
Yes, it is the...
It is called
Nintendo. It's called Mentalis.
Mintendo.
And then we find out that this whole thing is fully automated. There are no Zeons on Zeos. This has all been put on autopilot, basically.
It's like this computer is playing an elaborate game of chess. Only instead of chess is real life blowing shit up.
So it's like The War Games. The movie, not the Doctor Who serial.
I don't know. What's the movie War Games?
You've not seen War Games? With Matthew Broderick?
Is that the only winning move is not to play?
Yeah!
No, I've never seen it.
Global thermonuclear war? Would you like to play a game? It's a good movie. So, Shap tries to shoot Mentalis, but it shoots the gun out of his hand. Comedy. I enjoy that. K9's the only thing that can talk to it, because it doesn't actually
It's not
talk.
like it's got USB ports or anything.
Right. So, K9 is the mediator and asks about Astra and the war. It doesn't know anything about Astra, won't say anything about Astra, and it says that the war is over, and the obliteration of everything is next. Well, it says the obliteration is next, and they're like, obliteration of what? Everything! And then...
K9, by the way, does not seem stressed about this.
No.
K9 is still like, well, this is my very good friend, Mintendo.
It's Mintendo now. And then we see that the Marshal is on his way to blow shit up.
So, like, they've gotten the war is over. And isn't that great? And he's like, yes. But now the scene where he, like, communes with, like, whatever is controlling him has already happened, right?
Yeah, well, it told him, like, that the war is over, but he's like, I'm still gonna go blow up Zeos. I think he decided that on his own.
Well, because the people controlling him is like, the war is, he's like, what about my victory? And he's like, the war is over, make of that what you will, that's your victory. And then, yeah, on his own, he's like, okay, so they're done fighting us, which means I can go there now and crush them.
And he's on his way to blow it up. That's the cliffhanger that's the end of episode 3. We're now into episode 4. Oh my god, which had 2 titles for. The War Games 2 and The Third Planet. What do you rate those?
4.
Man, I'm getting less. War Games 2.
You didn't ask me last time, and it was a 9, so...
Oh, nice. What was it last time? Dance of the Bees?
Dance of the Bees. It's got bees in it, so it's good.
Bees? Beads?
You can't have beads here.
So, Mintendo is programmed not to lose. If it's attacked, everything will explode?
All of it.
All of it.
Everything.
So, if the Marshal attacks, it's going to explode everything. So, no one wins. And the Doctor goes, the Armageddon Factor. Which is the name of the serial.
He said it.
He did it. He did the thing. Title drop. He looks right in the camera and says, Hot Tub Time Machine. So then the Shadow puts some mind whammy on Astra and tells her to meet her lover and smile.
Gross.
Yeah. Like, if this scene happened today, it would definitely be commentary. And I don't feel like it was in this specific instance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, like, watching it now, it feels like that scene in Captain Marvel. But really, he's just, like, programmed her to be evil and go fuck with Merrick. So the Doctor tells Shap to go tell the Marshal, hey, don't blow this up. Be bad. So Shap leaves to transmat back to Atrios, or whatever the hell the other planet is called that I've already forgotten. Which, by the way, the black-robed guys that aren't the Shadow are all mute, and are referred to as the Mutes. I don't know if we've said that at all. I don't think they get name-dropped until way later.
Not
as
till
being
way
mute.
later, and they also don't do much.
They're mostly just generic henchmen.
Yeah.
But one of them spots Shap on his way back to the transmat and starts shooting at him. And Shap shoots back, but he does this, like, comedic... He's also, like, yelling for Merrick, trying to find Merrick, who's run off on his own, trying to find Astra. And he does this, like, straight-up pratfall, where he just falls straight back with, like, his legs up in the air, as he's screaming, Merrick! As he shoots the mute. And then he lands conveniently in the transmat spot, and then transmats away. And for a second there, I was like, did he die? Because we don't hear from him for a while. And then finally he, like, calls in to the Marshal and is like, hey, stop doing this. And I was like, oh, my boy's not dead.
You are referring to this character so fondly, and I can't super remember him.
You don't remember Shap?
I mean, I, like, remember his character and, like, the part that he played, but I'm not... There was never any point where I had, like, a fondness for this character.
You hurt my feelings.
I did notice, like, some of the faces that he made, but I don't know. I did not have the same strong reaction as you.
I just thought he was good. I thought he was a good comedic character. So Merrick hears Astra calling for him, so he goes after her, and she's like, Merrick! And, like, he runs towards her, and then runs through her?
And then he falls for, like, ever?
He falls into some sort of weird-ass bubble? I don't know what the fuck that was supposed to be.
I don't either.
And he's like, Also, like, when we come back to him later and he's in the bubble pit, he's got, like, a big cut on his forehead, too.
And, like, Astra's just actually there, and she's like, you fell, dummy. Like,
I think they're getting rid of him for a little bit, and then they're like, oh shit, we need him. Though I don't know what they needed him for, so I think maybe he had some information. The Doctor is working on Mentalis, or Mintendo, and it's at this point that Romana figures out that the thing between the two planets that's blocking the view is possibly a third planet.
An invisible planet.
The shadow is on, and she would be correct. Way to go, Romana. Doing great in your last serial. Proud of you. Because of the Doctor's fiddling, and I think also the Marshal is coming in on his thing, Mentalis starts a countdown to self-destruct, and then blows up itself. It's the command center. So, Mentalis doesn't exist anymore, and now there's a countdown that cannot be stopped. And so the Doctor's
So they get
shit.
the TARDIS.
They leave. They just go away. They never come back. The end.
No. I mean, they do get into the TARDIS.
And decide to make their own sixth piece. Because they're like, we know the shape it's gotta be. It's a cube.
They basically 3D print their own sixth piece.
Out of, like, I don't know, styrofoam or something. But, like, I think it's funny, like, the Doctor, like, makes the piece, and he's, like, going to put it in. He's doing that thing, he's like, he can't figure out how it goes in, even though he made it himself. And Romana has to be like, give it here, and, like, puts it in. As they're doing this, that's when, like, Shap calls in the Marshal and says, cut it, stop doing it, don't do it. And he's like, fuck you, fire! They move his hand, and then it goes, fire! And he moves his hand, fire! He moves his hand, fire!
I feel like it loops more times than is necessary for you to go, it works, they're in a loop.
But also they need to pad out time. This is a 6-parter. But, yeah, the piece works. They're in a 3-second time loop.
But it's stretching.
Well, no, not yet. Like, everything's in a 3-second time loop at this point. Everything. The whole universe is in a 3-second time loop. And the Doctor's like, someone is slipping on a banana peel right now. Over and over again. They have 3 minutes for this 3-second loop to last before it, like, will collapse. So they're like, what if we just localize it to just Mentalis and the Marshal ship? What if we just localize it to that? We'll buy ourselves some more time. Because it takes a lot of power. It'll use less power.
Gain more time
if they localize it to this certain thing instead of the whole fucking universe.
By the way...
And it's, like, destroying the sixth piece. But yeah, it's like burning the sixth piece as it does it. So that's why they only have a certain amount of time. But now they've gained more time, but the loop is also slowly stretching. It's, like, expanding. Which we sometimes will see the countdown, and they'll be like, 10, 9, 8, 10, 9, 8, 10, 9, 8, 7.
And you're like, shit.
Especially when it's getting down to, like, all the way to, like, 2, and then going back, and you're like, Like, I fucking hate countdowns on Doctor Who. I fucking hate them. They happen way too often, and it's generally in fucking real time. But this fucking works. It's, like, stressful. It's the only time I've seen a countdown on Doctor Who be effective, and it's because it's so...
It's stressful. It gets all the way down to the end and pings back, and you don't know if it's going to ping back or not.
Yeah, it's good. I don't know who wrote this, but thank you for, like, twisting that fucking countdown trope that I hate so much and actually making it effective.
Really hate it. You've said the F word, like, 6 times.
Fuck? What? Plus. I just have a note that says Romana does the thing the Doctor does.
Joseph, what does that mean?
It means, like, the Doctor says...
I know what it means.
Yeah, the Doctor says to, like, some sort of, like, we'll do this thing. And then Romana's like, we'll do this thing. And, like, says exactly what he said. But acts like she said it herself.
Which is great.
Anytime the companion becomes the Doctor.
Yes, would you like to verbalize that on this audio medium?
Oh, I did the fonts. Hey! Thumbs up. So, Astra transmats to Zeos, gets Merrick out of that bubble, for some reason. Credibility, maybe? I don't know. K9 finds them and shoots some mutes. Astra finds the TARDIS, wants to get in it, but Merrick's not super interested. Meanwhile, K9 has pushed the mutes into the transmat. And here's a distress call. And it is very clearly a trap. It is just a little device that's like sending out a distress call.
It has a good name, though. Man, what is it called? Universal Computer Distress Signal or something like that.
And K9 falls for it, hook, line, and sinker.
I think my favorite thing about that isn't just that he falls for it, but there's like a scene earlier, like the first time they go on the transmat, where it's the Doctor and K9, and the Doctor is talking to K9 about how it's probably a trap. K9's like, yeah, obviously. And he's like, well, what am I gonna do? Like, not go on the trap? And K9's like, yes. And so this exact same scene happens, and K9 just
walks into a trap. And he gets transmatted away to the third planet. Which I don't know if it ever has a name. I think it's just the third planet. The Doctor and Romana meet up with Astra and Merrick. And the Doctor tries to send them... He's like, just get back to Atrios because bad stuff's happening here. And Astra's like, I don't wanna. He's like, do it anyway. So they sort of head out. They're like going towards the transmat. And Merrick falls down because he's hurt his ankle because he fell down a fucking bubble pit. And he's like, help me. And Astra's like, nope, bye. And then pieces out.
Which I don't understand what she's doing.
Me either. I mean, I know what she's doing, but I don't know why she went and got Merrick. I don't remember what the reasoning behind that was. I'm sure there was something, right?
Surely.
But Merrick is like, I don't know what's up with Astra and why she betrayed me. And then he goes and transmats to Atrios.
It's like she just did it to be a dick. It doesn't help the plan in any way.
And then she runs to the TARDIS and is like banging on it. I'm like, let me in. We got chased by bad guys and they got Merrick and we need to get out of here. They go inside the TARDIS and Astra just like beelines to the key and is just like staring at it. And I think the Doctor sees that she has a neck thing.
Yes.
And
she's also acting like a complete weirdo.
They TARDIS to the third planet and then a cliffhanger happens. I've never seen Toni get so angry at a cliffhanger before.
Because it's infuriating. The very idea of it upsets me so much. It's not right. The cliffhanger is the Shadow talking to K9, telling K9 what to do, and K9 says, K9 calls the Shadow Master. He stole another man's dog.
He's petting K9 too.
K9! my little metal boy!
You were so angry.
Furious. Livid. Just livid.
That's the end of episode 4.
You can't just steal a dog!
And then episode 4, we're now into episode 5, which I have 3 titles for, apparently. Jesus, Joe!
Alright, any of them good. I don't want to hear all 3 of them. I want to hear the one good one.
No, they're all good. The Shadows.
That's not good.
The Valley of the Shadow.
That's not good.
The Name of the Doctor.
Those all suck. You had 3 goes, and not one of them impressed me.
Like the Valley of the Shadow of Death.
Yeah, no,
The Valley of the Shadow.
I don't love it.
The Name of the Doctor is something that happens in this.
Oh shit, it is, isn't it?
Yeah. So they can't find the key piece.
Now this is a character that I remember.
Yeah. Oh, there's a character coming up, you guys. There's a character coming up. So they can't find the key piece because they need the tracer, but the tracer is currently inside the key that they've rigged together with the fake piece. So they can't find the 6th piece with the tracer because it's holding that. Yeah, it's holding that time loop together. So the Doctor asks for Astra for help, and the Shadow tells her to do it and to bring Romana, and then she's like, "Sure, I'll do it." And they head out. Romana and Astra head out, not the Doctor. The Doctor is like, "I'll be out in just a minute," and then he receives a distress signal, and he's like, "That's weird. Who's that from?" We'll find out. So, he's trying to track it down, and he bumps into...
It's the same distress signal, by the way.
I thought it was the one got K9, and that was a ploy by the Shadow, but this other one's not.
I mean, it's the same...
Type of signal?
Yeah, that like, long name that he calls it for, the, like, Universal Computer something of distress. He name drops the same thing that K9 does. I don't know if that's... I mean, it sounds like it's a type... Like, it's a distress signal that, like, computers will send out. It's not necessarily, like, the exact same.
I don't know. But the doctor's trying to track it down, and he bumps into what he assumes is Astra and Romana. And he turns around and he goes, shh, we gotta be very quiet. And they disappear while he's not looking at them. And he turns around and he's like, what? And then he walks down another hallway, and then there is a Romana pops out from behind a cave wall. Which, by the way, we haven't said this whole planet's like caves. I mean, it's Doctor Who. What do you expect?
Right.
A Romana pops out from behind a wall, and then another Romana, and then another, and another, and another. There's 5 total Romanas on screen, and the Doctor looks at them and then just turns around and counts them on his fingers. He makes this face, and it's the equivalent of what? I think it's bizarre that we have Mary Tam for 1 season, and she's played multiple characters in 2 different serials. She's topped her previous record of 3 with 5.
Yeah, but these are all the same.
Yeah, it's just a hologram.
Yeah.
And
it's not like she's playing 5 different versions.
Right. Well, I guess she would say she's playing 2. She's playing Romana and then evil hologram Romana. But he walks away from the 5 Romanas and then walks past a guy in a hat and a scarf and a long coat. He walks by himself. He's like...
Don't.
I'm confused.
Do you want to finish this podcast on your own? Because I'll go finish the nap I was taking.
No, how would you describe his reaction?
He sees himself, and he's like, oh shit. How else would you be when you see yourself? You're like, oh shit.
Like,
that was bad, probably. It was a really good nap, and you interrupted it so that we could do the podcast.
All right. What? Then the doctor is like, oh, I know what's going on. And, sees a security camera. Which they have. Not fucking skulls hanging on the wall. There's a security camera. And, he's talks to it. And he's like, I know what's up. I know what's going on. You're doing weird shit. You work for the Black Guardian. And you're messing with my head and all this shit. He's like, I'm onto you. And then he falls into that weird bubble pit.
Man, why do they even have that there?
Well, there's gotta be 2 of them. Because the other one was on... Zeos.
Is the bubble pit real, or is it a psychological situation?
I don't know. It's not very well explained. I need to read the novelization, I guess. But he gets put into a prison, into a cell underground, and he hears something crawling through the wall, and there's a big stone, and it starts to push open, and he's trying to push it closed, and this Phil Collins looking motherfucker pops his head out, stares at the doctor for way too long. They're just staring at each other. And then he's like, Theta? Theta Sigma? Thetes? Is that his name?
Yeah, you didn't know? His name is Theta.
Theta Sigma.
Theta Sigma.
What? That one doesn't count. That was my legitimate reaction.
I'll give you that one.
I thought it was a mystery. Though people have tried to retcon it, right? It's oh, that's not his name. It's a
designation or
nickname or something.
Yeah, but that's his name.
So let's talk about him.
Drax. His name is Drax, and I've heard of Drax before, specifically, and I've talked about it on this podcast before, I'm pretty sure, through reading the 10 Doctors comic.
Oh.
Drax. I don't remember what, but Drax plays a role in the 10 Doctors. It's been a really, really long time since I've read that comic. I think I read it I think it's been 10 years now? But yeah, when that character popped up, I was like, oh, that's Drax. I remember him. And I remember him because he's fun. He's so much fun in the 10 Doctors. And, he's really fun here. He's a good character.
Did you know he had such a, Cockney accent going on?
I mean, it's in the
it's phonetically written.
I don't think I probably at the time could have heard it so well because I hadn't heard the accent as much as I've heard it now, and so at the time I probably would have read it and been like, this guy talks in a lot of slang and it's hard to read. But yeah, Drax is a Time Lord. Drax went to school with the Doctor, which is always great because anybody who went to school with the Doctor knows what a little shit he is. And also knows that he's not, I won't say not as smart as he thinks he is, but the Doctor is definitely one of those people who was smarter than the grades he had.
He does say that the doctor got his doctorate.
That's true.
I think, and it's just so funny seeing, like, because we've seen so many Time Lords.
And the Time Lords are, like, formal, stodgy-ass people. And
he's all like, what? Right? You know?
Yeah, Drax is a very, like, working class, everyday man. And it's fun to see.
Because he, too, like the Doctor himself, he was accidentally stranded on Earth for a while. Because he came to, like, repair something and got stuck there. Like very Ford Prefix situation.
I think that's the funniest thing when they have to justify an accent. It's like, why would he have that particular Earth accent? But they only ever have to do it when it's not like... I mean, like, nobody's ever done it with, like, why does the Doctor have an English accent?
Planets have a North.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying, though. Like, that needed a justification because it was a Northern accent. It wasn't your, like, posh sounding. And that's what I mean. When it's, like, the rougher of the, like, English accents, then it, like, needs an explanation. When it's, like, what's considered, I don't know, pleasant to hear, I guess? Does that make sense? I guess it's, like, in the United States, if it was, like...
Why does he sound like a redneck?
Yeah, it'd be like, why does he have a Southern accent? And it's like, that would need an explanation. Not like, why does he have, I don't know, not a Southern accent. Midwest, maybe? Yeah. Northern? That would need an explanation. But if he had a Southern accent, that would need an explanation. It's rude, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's probably classist, right?
Yeah, probably. I don't know.
Because, I mean, this sort of Cockney accent is more, like, associated with, like, a blue-collar, working-class sort of vibe, so...
But yeah,
because, I mean, he also is specifically, like, he's an engineer.
Technician. He's somebody who fixes things. I feel like it's contrasted with, like, the Doctor is more of, like, somebody who knows things in theory. I don't know. There's definitely a contrast between the two of them. But, like, it's also, like, Drax knows just as much, but it's seen as more, like...
He's fun to watch, too, because not only does he have, like, the great accent, which is, like... played very much for comedy, but he also does a lot of, like, hand gestures. He's
very quick.
Yeah, and he emphasizes everything with his hands, and it's great.
And the Doctor basically reacts to Drax exactly like who you'd react to somebody who you haven't seen since high school. Where you're like, oh, yeah, you sort of know me. Bye.
And also he thinks that that Drax is working for the Shadow. But I mean, he has said that he made what he said is he made Mentalis, and then they instantly like captured him and like didn't pay him or anything. They're like, "Fuck you, got you now." But like the Doctor's like, "I think you're still secretly working for the Shadow," and he's like, "I swear I'm not." And then he like crosses on both sides.
Does he? I didn't notice that.
Yeah, he crosses his hearts.
Aw, that's a good detail.
Because he finds the distress signal, which Drax made. And he's like, yeah, I figured I might get somebody. And the Doctor's like, that's bullshit. You led me here with that. That's what he says. Turns out to be true. He did, in fact, do that for the Shadow to help him. But the Doctor's like, that's fair, that's fine. But listen, we are two smart-ass Gallifreyans.
Because Drax pretty much says that he did it. He admits to it, but he says... Well, he said he was going to kill me. Like, what would you do? And
the Doctor's like, well, we're together now. Let's team up. Let's take them out.
I start building a widget.
It's something Toni will love.
It's so good!
So the Shadow has, meanwhile, captured Romana, put her in the tortured cage, the lie detector cage. Now he sent K9 to go find the Doctor. K9 finds the Doctor. The Doctor has to, like, climb up this, like, chute.
K9.
K9's like, I'm over here, and like the Doctor's following his voice, and he climbs up this like little, I don't know, trash chute thing, and there's like a metal bars between him and K9. And K9's like,
my little metal boy.
The Doctor quickly realizes that K9 is under the control of the Shadow, and he like reaches to the bars to try to grab K9, and K9's like, whoa, what the fuck? Gotta kill you now.
K9 says, whoa, what the fuck? Gotta kill you now.
Whoa, what the fuck? Gotta kill you now? I think he says, like, defense, whatever, activated. He gives the Doctor a message from the Shadow. Give up or else or whatever bullshit villains say. And the Doctor pulls the, like, metal grate aside, grabs K9, and shoves him down the chute. And you just hear Drax like, what the fuck is this thing?
Drax is at the bottom of the chute. I do like that. So, like, Drax is, like, fiddling on the thing, and the Doctor goes to climb up that chute because it's, like, presumably Drax has, like, little secret tunnels all around the place. Yeah. And so the Doctor's, like, waiting for Drax to get done, and he's just kind of poking around the secret tunnels, and he's like, where's this one go? Like,
well, yeah, I think specifically the Doctor's, like, going to go try to find the shadow, and he's like, yeah, head up this one, just beware of the mutes. That's the first time I think mutes
is name dropped. I think you're right.
Yeah.
Because I was like, the what?
And then I was like, oh, those guys who have had no impact on my mind at all.
Yeah, I forgot that they were things that existed.
Because they are just plot devices. He basically tells Drax, fix up my robot dog. I'll be back.
Drax is kind of delighted. Drax is like, it's a dog!
Well, it's when they go back to it later, and it's just, like, K9's there on his side. And it's just like, he's like, hey! And Drax, like, jumps like he heard, like, I don't know, like he saw a mouse. And he jumps up on the table like, what the fuck was that? And he's like, oh, right, the dog. And then he's like, please set me up right. And he won't do it immediately. And then K9, like, threatens to, like, blow him up. So he's like, all right, hold on. He sets him up. But, yeah, then he's just like, oh, you're a cute little doggy. Making some sort of jokes. And K9 says, your silliness has been noted.
I made Joe shift that for me so that I could send it to him later.
And now you have it. You've not used it.
I'm waiting for the right opportunity. I'm going to drop it in the Discord server at some point.
Drax and K9 work together to fix whatever it is, the thing that they're working on, and we don't know what it is yet. Meanwhile, Astra has been removed from her mind control. The Doctor gets captured by one of the mutes and is taken to the TARDIS.
So he did not look out for them.
Not really. And he's at the door to the TARDIS, opens the door to the TARDIS, and he's, like, trying to, like, bullshit his way out of getting the key piece. When Drax shows up and shoots the Doctor. And the Doctor's like, Drax! No! And then he starts to just disappear.
Because he's shrinking!
He shrinks him, and that is the cliffhanger. And, like, Drax looks so excited when he's doing this.
Because he's like, hey, Doctor, I've got your back! And hits him with the shrink ray.
By the way, that's the end of episode 5. We're now into episode 6, which I've called A Couple of Shrinks.
8 out of 10.
And as soon as the Doctor's finished shrinking, he turns the gun on himself.
And shrinks himself. And he's like, I did it! You're welcome!
And the Doctor's like, what the fuck, Drax? You were supposed to shoot him, not us! He's like, yeah, but now we can get around undetected. And then you just see giant feet step by, and he's like, did not think that through.
Listen, Drax is probably just me. I was, like, so excited about the prospect of being tiny.
So, with the K9 cliffhanger and the shrinking thing, it's like the serial was kind of made for you.
A little bit.
So this is the third Doctor to shrink himself? We had Hartnell in Planet of Giants. We had...
Oh man, Planet of Giants is so underrated.
We had Pertwee in Carnival of Monsters.
Yeah, that's a good serial, but the shrinking isn't very fun because they're also in a tiny thing, and so everything's relative to the same size.
Yeah, but there is the scene with, like, the forks driving down at them.
That's true, and that's great. It's not as good, though, as Planet of Giants.
No.
They don't sell the...
This isn't as good as Planet of Giants.
No, nobody sells the tininess as well as the first Doctor serial that does it, and it's because they had some great props.
Though it's not bad here, it's just not very long.
Yeah.
Romana's just trying to talk Astra into running away, and Astra says that no, her destiny is here. She will not go with Romana. And then she says
hey, I'm a piece of the key to time.
Well, she says a bunch of sixes. She's like, I'm the sixth daughter, I'm the sixth, I'm the Antichrist, I'm the beast. No, she says, like, I'm the sixth.
She's the sixth daughter of the sixth house of the sixth
son of
generation of the planet she's on or some
Right, and Romana's like,
Six?
Like, we're looking for the sixth key piece.
Which is like...
dumb. Question, are the pieces numerically ordered? Have we been going for them in numerical order? I figured they were just random pieces that were not assigned specific numbers. Like, this should not be a clue. But yeah, Astra's the key piece. It's dumb. I mean, her being the key piece is fine, but all
the sixes are silly.
The solving of the clues is a lot like when Batman and Robin would get something from the Riddler in the TV show. Batman 60s movie and TV show?
Adam West is my favorite Batman.
Really?
I don't know why you're laughing at me.
I mean, it's fair.
That is a sincere opinion that I have.
What about Diedrich Bader?
I don't know who that is.
Brave and the Bold. Very Adam West name.
I've only seen a couple episodes.
Adam West plays his dad on it. He plays Thomas Wayne.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
What was I? There's some podcast where somebody like called up Adam West, and he was just like really nice and pleasant to talk to.
I would imagine no less.
And he answered the phone by saying the Batcave.
He did some spots for Retro TV.
Did he really?
For Doctor Who.
Why?
I don't know, but I've seen him at work. Retro TV Doctor Who spots starring Adam West.
That's nice.
Yeah, I don't get the connection. I mean, it's a 60s show, I guess, but...
It's an episode of Reply All, and I don't remember what the episode was about, but they just called up Adam West.
So, the Shadow goes to the TARDIS, a mute opens the door for him, and it's too bright for him. He can't go in. It's just the lights on too much, too high. So the mute goes in to get the key and comes back out.
I understand that feeling.
So then we hear the Doctor and Drax making plans, but we can't see them. We don't know where they are.
Because they're so small. They're inside K9.
They are inside K9.
My good metal boy.
The Trojan K9. So they make a plan and they're going to go... It's not a great plan. Their plan is they're going to take K9 back to the Shadow, and K9's going to pretend to still be under his control, and then they're going to pop out and get the key piece. Not a very elaborate
complicated
plan. I think that's pretty much what happens. Okay, Merrick actually transmats to the third planet in disguise as one of the mutes, but honestly, his role is so unimportant. He doesn't really do much. I don't even think he is involved in this final confrontation at all.
Oh no, I just realized what happens next.
Astra turns into the piece.
The Shadow has a definite reaction to this situation.
Because he sets the key down on this pedestal that he has, and she touches the tracer, and then...
Now she's just a hunk of ugly plastic.
And the Shadow's like, oh!
That's not an exaggeration. That's the sound he makes. For how long would you say that scene goes on for, where he's just moaning?
Realistically, probably about 2-3 seconds. Mentally, it's still going.
It's still in there.
It never ends.
Yeah.
So, K9 blasts in through a wall, pretends to still be under the Shadow's control. He's also, there's a bit where he, clears his throat and coughs because, there's, dust around. He's a fucking robot.
Yeah, I don't know what that was about.
Anyway. But, Shadow buys it.
Apparently K9 is a bad liar.
So, the Doctor and Drax get out of K9 and then blow themselves up. Honey, they blew themselves up.
Honey, would you like a blow?
Those are the words I've always longed to hear from you.
Nope. You can't put that in the podcast.
It wouldn't be the worst thing we've had in the podcast. You said it.
Yeah, but I instantly regretted it. The thing about most of the things that I say is that they're not being recorded so that they can go onto the internet.
And then you met me. The Doctor blinds the Shadow with something and grabs the key piece and they run away. And then Merrick stays behind because he's an idiot. He's like, I'm going to find Astra, even though...
He knows, has already figured out that Astra is the key piece. And I don't know if he's just broken?
I don't know. And they're like, they're like,
fine. They got bigger fish to fry.
But honestly, Romana is like... The Doctor's like, we got bigger fish to fry. Romana is like pissed. And she yells at the Doctor about it. She's like, we lied to him. And these people are going to be they're going to die and...
She's really, really furious, too, about the fact that, Astra was a person. Astra was a human being. And the Doctor kind of says, that was part of the White Guardian's plan.
And he's like, well, we gotta save the universe.
But she's also it's unjust. It's if a Guardian's gonna use a power like that, then they don't deserve to have it. Which is such a good scene for Romana, where it's like, fuck yeah, let's go fight God.
So they go back to Zeos to turn off the countdown. They're working with it. Drax shows up last second and is like, it's the green wire. Think. It's been a long time since I made this thing. So he, like, pulls out a piece of paper.
He's got
like,
a schematic.
And it's like the countdown's going down to 1 and then zipping back. But they finally, they turn it off. But the missile fires. So they're like, oh shit, we're in this place that's about to blow up. So they do the doctor puts up the force field like he was talking about. And it deflects the missile into the third planet, into where the shadow is. Like, there's explosions, and then it fades to the shadow going, I failed you, Black Guardian. I suck. And the Black Guardian's like...
Sorry, I suck.
Then we cut to the Black Guardian, which is just a negative of a person. Being like, I figured you would fail, but I have planned for this, and I have my own plans.
Like, this has always factored into the plan.
And then he's like... And then
he's like, what?
He de-negatives, and now he is the White Guardian. I don't think he's been the White Guardian the whole time. I think the White Guardian was the White Guardian. The Black Guardian is now just disguising himself as the White Guardian.
I don't think so. I think he was...
White Guardian shows up later, I think. I don't think he was the White Guardian the whole time. As cool as that would be, I don't think he was the White Guardian the whole time.
Why? I think he was.
I don't think he was.
I think he was.
I don't think he was.
I think he was.
I don't think he was.
I think he was.
I don't think he was.
I think he was.
I don't think he was.
I think he was.
I don't...
I think he was.
Because when I was looking at the wiki, it said that he disguised himself as the White Guardian. He wasn't the White Guardian. The first one was the White Guardian.
I don't think he was.
I know, it seems like a cooler idea for him to have been the White Guardian all the time, but I don't think he was.
I think he was.
Agree to... Well, chime in. What do you think, dear humble listener viewers? Also, I want to point out, I think this serial in the original script ended with the destruction of the third planet. This whole thing with the Black Guardian was written by Douglas Adams.
Were they not gonna wrap up?
I think we got the key. Wrapped up. This whole thing with the Black Guardian was added, I believe, by Douglas Adams.
This is like the key to time stuff doesn't continue on from here, right?
No, I don't think so. I think the White and Black Guardian do return.
But I'm saying they were...
I've seen them and they have birds on their hats. I'm pretty sure.
Originally they were just gonna be like, well, we found the last key. Great.
The end. Yeah.
Even though they've talked about the Black Guardian so much, and that's astonishing to me.
Yeah, it was all added. I'm pretty sure.
But it's all Douglas Adams?
Mm-hmm. I think so, yeah. It might have been Douglas Adams and somebody else, but I think it's primarily Douglas. Which, it needs this wrap-up.
Yeah, I'd be really annoyed if this wasn't here.
I think maybe some of this, wrap-up stuff was still here. Drax is gonna go...
God, I love Drax.
He's like, I've got a job with the Marshal. We're gonna rebuild Atrios and all that stuff because it's it's a war-torn planet now. He's gonna go help rebuild it, and he's got a job doing that with the Marshal. And he's like, oh, you do? And he's like, yeah, well, I will.
It's like I'm about to pitch it to him.
So Romana's like, to Gallifrey? The Doctor's like, no, I have all of this power now in my hands, and is just rolling his eyes up in the back of his head, and I am full of great power, and there's nothing in the universe that can stop me.
Really just hamming it the fuck up.
And Romano's like, are you serious? He's like, no, but imagine if I was.
That is the kind of power that this thing has, and we gotta make sure that it doesn't get into the wrong hands.
And then the White Guardian appears on the screen, give me that key. And Romana's initially distrustful of him, because he doesn't look it's not the same actor. And I think he looks like the president from Gallifrey?
No, he doesn't look like the president. The first time she saw him, he did look like the president.
Oh, okay. And she's like, that's weird. And he's like, oh, I've just taken this other...
Got tired of my old face. Couldn't get the first guy back.
So he's like, give me the key. And the Doctor's like, okay. Which we haven't said, you can command it through voice command.
Yeah, you can...
I command you,
yeah.
whatever.
You can make the key do shit.
And, because there was that bit where he's like, I command you to localize the time loop to this one spot. And then Romana's like, and the other spot. He's like, oh, yeah, and that too. But he's like, all right, key, I command you. Wait a second. What about this thing? And then he's like, oh, this is fine. He's like, all right, key, I command. Okay, but what about Astra? One of these pieces was essentially a human being. Is that not a problem? And he's like, yeah, well, it's unfortunate, but you gotta do what you gotta do. It's important for the balance of the universe and all that stuff. He's like, right. Key, I command you to do absolutely nothing. And then they TARDIS out. And the Guardian's like, roar!
He turns into that negative.
He's like, I know you're the Black Guardian. Grabs the tracer and snaps it in half.
And all the key pieces break up and, like, float away.
And Astra returns to Merrick. Because, they love each other, if you know what I mean. Wink!
What do you mean?
I mean, they love each other. Wink!
God, you're the worst!
And then Romana is like, what the fuck? We spent a whole season getting this shit together. What the hell, man? And he's like, well, it was really the Black Guardian, and it's much better to not have all this stuff in one place. I am a little with her. Like, this whole season's essentially pointless.
A little bit.
But then he's like...
That's why it was him the whole time.
And she's like, well, where are the pieces? And he's like, I don't know. I've installed a thing on the TARDIS that will keep me from going wherever I want to go. They won't be able to follow me because I won't even know where I'm going, so they can't question me about it.
He's randomized the TARDIS to make his movements harder to, like, track.
He's installed a randomizer.
So...
They have created a technical piece of the TARDIS that effectively does what the TARDIS did at the beginning because the Doctor just didn't know how the fuck to fly the thing. They've recreated the TARDIS from the first and second Doctor, but now it's the Doctor did it on purpose.
It's nice, though. Like, it's nice to have the Doctor show up places randomly and be like, oops, why am I here? What's happening? I'm, like, looking forward to return to that kind of a story.
But that's it. That's the end of both the Armageddon Factor and the Key to Time. We'll be right back after these messages.
God, no.
We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back for our final thoughts.
You ever been curious about the real or fictional worlds?
In the beginning, there were laser kings and giant robots.
Those who created.
I'm going to feed you to this tentacle monster now. No.
Or what inspires.
And I remember being in my room with my brother, and we immediately, like within 5 seconds, he decided he was a DC fan, and I decided I was a Marvel fan. And we were going through and sorting out all of the comics.
And you might enjoy You Be Tigers, the only podcast show where we take life by the tail. Now available on Google Play, Stitcher, and iTunes, and of course your favorite podcasting network. This is You Be Tigers.
And we're back. Hey, Tony, do you know what time it is?
Yeah, I'm leaving.
Tony, what time is it?
It's time for me to go take a nap.
No, it's not time for naps.
You're right. It's very late. It would just be going to sleep.
What time is it in the podcast? What do we have to do before we can finish doing the podcast?
Final thoughts?
Yes!
Final thoughts.
First off, I think this season has been pretty phenomenal. Every serial has been good, save for one, which was The Power of Krull. That one was a big old garbage bag on fire, full of poop. It was not good. This one was a lot of fun. It's probably not the best serial in the season, but it's still it's pretty solid. It's definitely got the problems of a six-parter. It's definitely padded in bits, but I think the story is interesting. The comedy is really great. Drax is amazing. Shap is amazing. Merrick, fuck Merrick. Even Astra's a little not. I don't like. Astra's not super great either. She's fine. She's not bad like Merrick. She's fine.
Oh, I disagree.
I don't think she's got a whole lot to do.
She doesn't have a lot to do, but she does a lot with what she does have to do. When she's mind controlled and she has to have a range in this episode, and she definitely has it.
That's true. I don't know. I kind of was expecting maybe a little bit more, considering I knew that she was going to become Romana essentially.
You were expecting her to already have the part of a companion?
Well, no. I mean, I don't know. I thought she'd blow me away, but really, she's just a character in the serial. You know?
I thought she was very impressive.
No, she's fine. I don't know. I didn't think she was extraordinary or anything. I thought she was just adequate. Not in a bad way. Merrick kind of sucked. I didn't care for Merrick at all. Even the Marshal is a little meh. He plays that full that blowhard sort of thing really well, but it's kind of one note, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Whereas, like, I don't know, Drax and Shap I like a lot, because they're playing with stuff a bit more.
They're just comedy characters, that's why you like them more.
I mean, the Marshall's a bit of a comedy character, but it's not a comedy character I like. I don't know. But, yeah, I don't know. I like this serial. There's Shrinking. There's Evil K9. I do kind of wish this had been a bit of a stronger serial for Romana. Yeah. Considering this is Mary Tam's last one. Not that she doesn't get good stuff to do, but it doesn't, like, focus on her a whole lot. She gets the scenes where she, like, calls out the doctor and stuff in the last episode specifically. That's, like, really good. And I'm glad that she, like, got a good meaty scene, like, in her last episode. I feel weird that we just, like, I don't even know, like, what her last line was. You know what I mean? I feel weird when there's not, like, a goodbye. Like, I hated Dodo's departure, and I hated just how Liz Shaw just, like, oh, yeah, she's gone. You know, I hate that. But, all in all, though, I liked this serial, and I liked this season. This is the first time I feel like I've ever really talked about a season of the show, you know what I mean? Because usually it's just like we talk about the serials by themselves, and I don't even really notice what's in a season. But this one, since it has such an arc, it's been interesting. I really enjoy the show having a season arc, and I hope we get more of that. I think we do, and I've heard it kind of sucks. But those are my final thoughts. What are your final thoughts?
Shoot, yeah, I don't really have a lot of different things to say other than what you said. I totally wish, Romana would have had a stronger send-off. It's weird to be saying goodbye to an actress, but not her character. It's weird when it happens with the Doctor.
Yeah, but we generally get a goodbye with the Doctor.
Yeah, because even though it might not be something that makes sense, like, in the story, it feels weird to not do it, like, outside of the story. It just feels weird.
Like, it'd be weird if the next episode was just, like, Peter Davison.
And he was like, oh, well, I got tired of my old face. We would be like, what? I don't know. Yeah, I mean, this one was fun. Obviously, it had a couple of things that were specifically tailored to me, it seems like. Shrinking is fun. Robots are fun. It's really interesting to watch a season of the show do something completely different. We've never really done this, like, consecutive storytelling this way before. I think it did it mostly successfully. I mean, you're never gonna have, like, a really solid run all the way through. I mean, there are a couple of times that shows have come close. But yeah, I like for striking out and doing something so completely different is really, like, interesting, really fun to watch. Key to Time was cool. I don't know.
The closest we've had to this has been, like, maybe the season where, like, the Master was in every serial.
Yeah.
Or the season, Third Doctor's first season felt kind of like it had a little bit of a theme going on. But yeah, I'm all for this, and I think this is a good thing for the show. I don't know if they keep that up. I don't think they do. But
I definitely disagree. I think I could see how they were, like, filming this serial and thought, oh, we need to get this person back as a companion.
I think it should have been Drax. Oh, that'd be fun. But if you like this episode, you can check out more on Watch-A-Rassilon.com. And be sure to rate and comment on our iTunes. It does iTunes magic.
Yes.
You're not even going to explain it.
God, I'm so tired. I didn't even realize it was my turn to do a thing. It's good. Good review, iTunes.
It helps us out. It gets us noticed. And puts us up on the scoreboard. If you'd like to help us out even more, go to watcherassalon.com/support, and there you'll find a link to our Patreon page, which you can get to just by going to patreon.com/watchathon. And there you can donate a monthly amount to get all kinds of rewards like day early episodes, uncut video the podcast records, bonus episodes, and live streams where we watch the episodes with you guys. We also, just for patrons at any level, we now have a Discord server that we all hang out and chat on and post pictures of cute animals and talk about what movies we've seen and stuff. It's been pretty fun. So if you are a patron, we will send you a link to that, and you'll get to come hang out with us. Also on our support page is a link to our Amazon wish list, where you can sponsor an episode of the podcast by purchasing the corresponding serial on DVD for us. We'll mention you in the podcast and put your name on our Friends of Rassilon page. Speaking of, special thanks again to Bisexual Brigadier for sponsoring not only this episode, but this entire season.
Hey, thanks, Bisexual Brigadier. It'll be weird to not say your name next time.
You can follow her on Tumblr at bisexualbrigadier.tumblr.com. And we also want to give a special shout out to Vincent E.L. for providing us with our fancy, awesome theme song.
Hey, thanks, Vince.
You can follow them at swinglish.nu. They're also Vincent EL on Twitter and stuff like that. Tune in next time when we talk about Destiny of the Daleks.
Do you think Daleks are in that one?
Possibly. And we'll have returning special guest Lainey Lex Terminate Henderson.
I know her.
She's, I guess, our Dalek expert. Thanks for listening. Keep calm and wrestle on.
Goodbye. And I love you. Platonically, though.
As from this moment, there's no such thing as free will in the entire universe. There's only my will, because I possess the key to time.
Doctor, are you all right?
Well, of course I'm all right. I suppose I wasn't all right.
This has been a broadcast of the ESO Network. Be part of the crew and help support our shows by donating to our ESO Patreon or by shopping through Amazon.com or the TeePublic store, which can all be found at www.esonetwork.com. The ESO Network, your station for all things geek.